There's a quiet strength in someone who can carry a role without shouting. A presence so subtle, it lingers long after the scene ends. A performance so real, you forget you're watching an actress at all. That was Melissa Sue Anderson. To millions. She was Mary Ingalls, the gentle, bookish older sister with the thick glasses and soft voice. A girl who lost her sight, yet never lost her spirit. The daughter who made her parents proud, even in silence. But behind that calm exterior was a talent far greater than most ever realized. Because Melissa Sue Anderson wasn't just playing a role. She was mastering one of the most difficult challenges an actor can face, portraying blindness authentically, consistently, and with soul. And she did it, not just once, but for nearly a decade, across hundreds of scenes, one of the most beloved shows in television history. She didn't just act blind, she became it. And in doing so, she set a standard that few actors before or since have ever matched. Melissa Sue Anderson was born in 1962 in Massachusetts, but raised in North Vancouver, Canada. From an early age, she had a gift, not just for performing, but for understanding people. She was observant, intelligent, and mature beyond her years. She began acting as a child, landing commercials and guest roles on shows like The Waltons and Emergency. But in 1974, at just 12 years old, her life changed forever. She auditioned for a new show called Little House on the Prairie. The role? Mary Ingalls, the eldest daughter of Charles and Carolyn, based on the real-life sister of Laura Ingalls Wilder. The challenge? Immense. Mary wasn't just a background character. She was central to the family's emotional arc. She represented duty, sacrifice, and quiet courage. And in one of the show's most powerful storylines, she would lose her sight due to scarlet fever, a turning point that would define the series. Other actresses might have shied away from such a role, afraid of being typecast, overwhelmed by the emotional weight. But Melissa Sue Anderson saw it as a challenge and an opportunity. And Michael Landon, who cast her after seeing her stillness and focus in the audition, later said, "She didn't act like a child. She acted like a woman who understood what she was doing." From her very first scene, Melissa brought something rare to Mary: truth, not melodrama, not overacting, but a quiet, grounded realism that made you believe every word, every gesture, every silent tear. And when Mary went blind in the unforgettable episode, Now We Are Six, Melissa had to transform. She couldn't rely on eye contact. She couldn't react with facial expressions the audience could see. She had to convey fear, confusion, grief, and hope through voice, posture, and touch alone. And she did it flawlessly. Watch that episode again. Notice how she trembles when she realizes she can't see the tree outside. How her voice cracks when she asks, "Am I going to be like this forever?" How she clings to her father's hand like it's the only thing keeping her from falling into darkness. That wasn't acting. That was art. And she didn't stop there. Over the years, Melissa portrayed Mary's journey with incredible depth, from her education at the Iowa Braille and Sight Saving School to her romance with Isaac Edwards, to her marriage and eventual move to California. Each step was handled with care, dignity, and emotional precision. But one of her most powerful performances came in the episode Mary's Last Dance. Mary returns home for a visit, now married, living independently, but still deeply connected to her family. She attends a school, dance, where she's asked to dance by a young man. She hesitates. Then, with quiet grace, she says, "I may not be able to see the room, but I can feel the music." And as she dances, guided by touch, moving to the rhythm, smiling through tears, the audience feels something rare, joy in the midst of loss. That moment wasn't just written well. It was lived, and it was Melissa Sue Anderson who made it real. But here's what most people don't know. Melissa wasn't just a talented actress. She was also one of the most intelligent and insightful performers on the set. She studied her lines like a playwright. She questioned motivations. She worked closely with directors to shape Mary's arc, and she wasn't afraid to speak up. When she felt a scene was unrealistic, especially in how blindness was portrayed, she would voice her concerns. She once sighed, "I didn't want to misrepresent what it meant to be blind. I wanted to get it right for the audience and for the people who lived it." And the blind community noticed. To this day, many visually impaired viewers praise her portrayal as one of the most accurate and respectful in television history. She didn't use blindness as a gimmick. She used it as a window into resilience, adaptation, and the power of the human spirit. And that's the mark of a true artist. But Melissa's talent didn't stop with Little House. After she left the show in 1981, a decision made to pursue independence and new challenges. She continued to work steadily, proving she was far more than just Mary Ingalls. She starred in TV movies like The Ultimate Imposter, Blind Terror, and The Jerk, too, showing range in drama, thriller, and even comedy. In Blind Terror, 1984, she played a blind woman being stalked, a role that could have felt like repetition, but instead became a showcase of her skill. She didn't rehash Mary. She created someone new, stronger, fiercer, more vulnerable. And in The Killing Mind, 1991, she played a psychologist battling a serial killer, a dramatic shift from the prairie girl image. She wasn't trying to escape Mary. She was expanding what people thought she could do, and she did it with quiet determination. But Hollywood didn't always reward her for it. Like many child stars, especially women, she found doors closing as she got older. Roles became scarcer. Offers leaned toward nostalgia, not growth. And in the 1990s, she stepped back, but not out, because Melissa Sue Anderson wasn't just an actress. She was a writer. In 2007, she published her memoir, The Way I See It. And it wasn't just another celebrity book. It was sharp, honest, thoughtful. She wrote about the pressures of fame, the loneliness of being a child star, and the complex dynamics on the Little House set, including her complicated relationship with Michael Landon. She didn't sugarcoat it. She wrote about feeling isolated, about being treated differently because she wasn't part of the core family cast, about the pain of being labeled difficult for asking for better scripts. And she wrote about the moment she realized, I wasn't just playing a role. I was being typecast in real life. But she also wrote about her pride in Mary, about the letters she still receives from blind fans who say, "You made me feel seen." And that, she said, was worth everything. The book was a critical success, praised for its intelligence, clarity, and emotional honesty. And it proved something Melissa Sue Anderson's greatest talent might not have been acting. It was storytelling. She could do it on screen, and she could do it on the page. She also became a painter, creating beautiful, expressive artwork that reflected her inner world. And in interviews, she spoke with the voice of someone who had lived deeply, not just as a star, but as a woman who had questioned, grown, and endured. She moved to Canada, lived a quieter life, raised a daughter, and stayed connected to fans, not for fame, but because she knew how much the show meant to people. And when Little House reunions happened, she was there, not to relive glory, but to honor the legacy, because she understood something profound. Mary Ingalls wasn't just a character. She was a symbol of dignity and disability, of grace under pressure, of a woman who, though she couldn't see the world, helped millions see more clearly. And Melissa Sue Anderson was the only one who could have brought her to life that way. So what was her best talent? Was it her ability to portray blindness with unmatched realism? Was it her emotional precision in scenes that could have easily become melodrama? Was it her intelligence as a writer, thinker, and advocate? Or was it her courage to leave fame behind, to speak her truth, to keep creating even when the spotlight faded? The answer is all of it, because true talent isn't just about skill, not it's about integrity, not it's about using your gift to tell the truth, even when it's hard, even when no one's watching. And Melissa Sue Anderson did that, not just for 9 seasons on TV. But for a lifetime after. She never sought the spotlight, but she deserved it, because while some stars burned bright and fast, she burned slow. Steady. And with purpose. And today, when we remember Little House on the Prairie, we don't just remember Laura. We remember Mary, and we remember the woman who gave her soul to the role, not because she had to, but because she cared. Not just talent, that's legacy. And that's why decades later, we're still talking about her. Because the quiet ones, sometimes they leave the loudest impact. And Melissa Sue Anderson, actress, writer, artist, truth teller, is proof. She may have played the sister who couldn't see, but she helped us all see better. And that is the greatest talent of all.